Good morning, my fellow Africans and the world at large. This is Emmanuel Kwejo once again, coming into your homes and your minds with a message of empowerment and enlightenment. Today is the 31st of August in the year 2022, and the Bible says this is the day the Lord has made. We should rejoice and be glad in it. And for that matter, I take this opportunity to invite the whole world, any man or woman listening to me or hearing my voice, to join me to give thanks to God for the day that He has granted unto us, and life in general. Life is beautiful. Life is wonderful. Life is glorious. Life is God Himself, flowing through all things, including mankind. Today, I am going to speak to you on the topic, your difficulties and circumstances are your shadows. You cannot run away from them. I repeat, your difficulties and circumstances are your shadows. You cannot run away from them. The life we live in, or if you take a careful observation about the behavior of men and women or humanity in general, we are always running away from our difficulties and circumstances. There is no one that is not looking for a solution to his difficulty or a particular circumstances that he finds himself in. But the only thing that we are failing to come to realization that is that we create our own realities, and therefore these difficulties and circumstances are our own creations. And therefore, if we are to look for solutions, we are to look for answers to them, then it must come from, or the answers must come from ourselves. But unfortunately, we run away, or we are every day running from one end to the other, looking for answers to our difficulties and challenges. And so today, we're going to look at this particular area of our lives and how we are supposed to address it, and how we are supposed to go about it to free ourselves once and for all. There is a saying that wherever the problem is, there is also the solution, and the solution is in the problem itself. Before you can solve any particular problem or situation, you have to understand it. And if you understand it, then you have an answer or the solution to the problem. But if you are ignorant, if you don't understand it, then you will continue to be in bondage to that particular thing. And so the understanding of our existence, the understanding of what we call life on earth here is what is needed. And the first thing we have to come into terms with is that the human being is a creator, and we create our own realities, or our circumstances and condition difficulties. We are the creators, either in ignorance or deliberately. And it is done by the combination of our thoughts and the operation of the laws of the universe. And so when we understand the laws of the universe and we begin to control our minds and guide against what we allow to grow in our minds, then we have the solution to whatever problem or circumstances that we are running away. But what we are doing now is more or less like we're running away from our shadows. If you look at yourself, whenever there is a shadow, there is light. And the light with your figure or with your body creates your shadow. You can run from one end of the world to the other. So long as the sun is still on and your body is still on this earth, the shadow will follow you to that particular end. But as soon as you come to the realization that it is not anything scary, it is not anything from anywhere but your own body and the sun, and therefore you don't really need to run away from it. But if you don't want to see it, then look for a shade and stand under it. And then you become free from this bondage that you are running away from. But as a matter of fact, even if you are under a shade, your shadow doesn't run away from you. It is still with you. As soon as you step into the sun, it will come back again. And so these are the things that we don't have to worry about, but we only have to gain understanding about our situation. So it is with our lives. Whatever circumstances, whatever situation that you find yourself in, They are your shadows. They are your own creations by your own mind and your thoughts and the laws of the universe. And so, just as we run to to a tree, or we go under the tree, or a house or a building, to make sure that the shadow will not be casted onto or will not be casted onto into our view by the sun. We also have to run under a shade, and the shade is we having understanding of the laws of the universe. And as soon as we have the understanding of the laws of the universe and how our minds work, then we are covered, and we will always create the shadows that are more favorable and beautiful, that we will not run away from them, but we will always love them. And so your difficulties, your circumstances are your own creation. As a matter of fact, this is one of the statements that most men and women are finding it difficult to accept, especially those of us in the religion. We see ourselves as victims, and therefore, whatever thing that happens to us, they are the cause of evil forces, evil spirits, and all those things. So today, we are not supposed to run away from all these challenges, but we are supposed to embrace them, address them. And as we address them with the understanding of our own being and our own laws and the laws of the universe, we get answers, we get solutions to them, and then we become free from them. And so today, I'm going to use a Bible quotations or verses. And this is one of the books that you don't normally hear people using. And that is the book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 18 to 19. But I will dwell mainly on the verse 19. The book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 18 to 19 says, "Woe to you who long for the day of the Lord. Why do you long for the day of the Lord? That day will be darkness, not light. It will be as though, a man fled from a lion only to meet a bear, as though he entered his house and rested his hand on the wall only to have a skin bite him." That is what we have in the Bible. Though it is not added that he's dead, but as a matter of fact, that is the implication, or we can infer that he's dead. So he was running away from one particular situation. And what is that? Death. He was afraid of the lion. Or he was afraid of the lion and only to meet a bear. And then as he ran away from the bear, he enters the house and he thought he was safe. So he put his hands on the wall, and lo and behold, there was a snake, and the snake bit him. And so whatever he was running away from, he came to meet it in his own home. And that is what we are doing in our lives here. Every man or woman is looking for salvation, the day of the Lord, the day that God will come and save us. But as a matter of fact, there is nothing that the day of the Lord will come that will be free, so long as we are ignorant about our own laws, the law of cause and effect. So long as we are ignorant about the fact that we are the creators of our own lives, and it is done by our thoughts and the law of cause and effect. And so, according to the law of cause and effect, actions and reactions are equal. So whatever thoughts that you are thinking, you will receive a life, you will receive an outcome which is equal, or which mirrors the thoughts that you've entertained, or you've actually brooded upon. And so when you go about this, and when you do this, when you go against this law, or you think in the negative, and at the same time believing and hoping that God will come and save you. As a matter of fact, even when the Lord, which is the law, when the law takes its effect, it means you're going to get a negative result. And that is what the prophet was saying. You're going to get a negative result. It is like darkness. There will be no light. And so you will see that in our lives. Most people will say, I have been praying and praying and praying and doing all those things, but it is only what I don't want that comes upon me. Yes, because the day of the Lord, it's not about God coming to give us judgment in a fashion like the human court. No, but it is when the law takes effect in your life, then you get the result of whatever you have been thinking or brooded upon. And so, That is the truth. The day of the Lord is happening in everyone's life, but it is the result is based upon what we think and what we send into the universe. And so the one that actually is thinking in alignment with the laws of the universe doesn't even long for the day of the Lord, because he's always saved, he's always free, and therefore he doesn't need any salvation. In the same way, if you think in the right direction, if you are entertaining the right thoughts and acting in the right way, you don't need any salvation from anyone, because you are free man. You are creating your life which is more favorable and wonderful. And so today, whenever we have the challenges, we are not supposed to run away from them, as this scenario was painted in the Bible. Any man that is faced with a circumstance or difficulties and begins to run away from it, going from one end and another, looking for a solution, but not using his mind and going into his own being, asking his inner being for answers and a revelation or guidance as to how to go about to get out of it, then the person is lacking from running away from a lion. And so you see that most people, they'll go to any length and actually look for a solution to the problem they are facing. And in the end, the problem comes to even worsen the situation. Then it goes on, it goes on, it goes on. In that case, you are like someone who was running away from a lion, and only to find that he's going into the hands of a bear. And then he find a way to escape, but only to come home to meet a snake that actually beating him to death. And so that is what we are doing. Every man or woman, that is what we are doing. We are not conscious of the fact that we are the creators of our own realities. And therefore, whatever thing that is happening in our life, it is within us. It is within us. And there is nowhere to look for the answer except within us. And as soon as we begin to look for the answers and thinking in the right way and obeying the laws of the universe, our course will always bring out effects, or will lead to an effect that is equal to the cause. And as I've already stated, the law of cause and effect is simply actions and reactions. And the law states that the cause and the actions are always equal. The cause and the actions are always equal. So if you are thinking negatively, don't expect to get a life that is positive. If you are thinking positively, there is no way that you get a life that is negative. And so we are governed by this law, and we are not supposed to run away from our difficulties. Whenever you find yourself in a certain circumstances, whenever you find yourself in a certain situation, bring yourself to order and begin to go according to the law. Analyze your life. Analyze your way of thinking. What is your direction of thinking? What are your beliefs? And then begin to weed out all these beliefs from your consciousness. As you do that, you see that you will recreate your life into a favorable and a beautiful one. And in that case, you are someone who is already free and is always under the shadow of the Almighty. And therefore, he's not even expecting the day of the Lord. People who are saved, people who are pious, people who are in tune with God doesn't need to even think of the day of the Lord, that the God will come and judge as well. That is the view of religion. But the fact is that the judgment is happening to us every moment in time based on the law of cause and effect and our thoughts. Whatever thoughts that you are thinking, whatever thoughts that you are entertaining will reap, or you will reap an effect or an experience in your life that will mirror that thoughts, good or bad. And so we are all facing difficulties and challenges, but we are not supposed to run away from them. So if we bring this into our own existence, our life, practically, you will see that every man or woman is running away from a particular difficulties. And if I'm to look at it from this way, you have people who find themselves in villages, in everywhere. Then the villagers say, oh, there are no opportunities here. Though they run from the villages to the city, and only to find themselves that they are faced with difficulties and challenges even different from what they were facing in their villages. And so life becomes difficult. Life becomes something. And most people end up taking up bad habits. They join gangs, they do this and that and that. And so you will see that the problem that the person was trying to run away from hasn't actually gone away from, but he only worsened it or aggravated it. And that is you running away from a lion and to a bear. And some people, they end up ending their life, losing their lives in the course of this. There are men and young men and women in our towns and cities that are living a life that if they were to be in their villages, they will have a better life. Some are homeless people. Some are doing a kind of jobs that some don't even have jobs to do. They just loitering about. So it goes on to be what? Taking on this kind of armed robbery and all those things. And so it is not that they were born to be armed robbers or whatever, but it is based on the thoughts that they entertain, based on the notion that whenever we find difficulties or whenever we are in poverty, the only way to make it is to go to the city. And so you always run away from one problem to the other, one level of the problem to the another level. Whichever way you would take, it's like you running away from a lion and end up finding yourself in the hands of a bear, or running away from the bear and going to home only to find yourself be bitten by a snake to death. And that is our life. But the only credible way to look at things is wherever you find yourself, whatever circumstances, situation you find yourself in right now, wherever you are, there is a solution to it at that point. If only you will use your mind rightly and you begin to seek the laws of the universe and obey them. If you come to the realization that your life is cause and effect, and therefore, even if you want to go to the village, if you're going to go to the city, you're going to use your mind and, with a combination of the laws of the universe to create a condition that will uproot you from the village to the city in a way that you will enjoy and have a beautiful life. You will. If you believe that, if you have that concept, you get it. But those who rush, those who run away, any man or woman that runs away from a particular problem to another, run away from a particular point to another point as a result of a circumstance or particular situation is not solving the problem. He's only moving the problem to another level. And so when you look at it, this is just one example. And if you look into our life, someone is one job. He's saying that he's not being promoted. So he struggles, but then he'll go for another job. As soon as he gets in that job, they only to realize that even if I were to be in my old job, it would have been better. So you see that people hop from one job to the other. And the fact is that they take themselves even back into worse situation than what they used to be. And that is you running away from the lion and going through, running away from the, what do we call it? The bear, and eventually being bitten by a snake in your own home. And that is how it is. So do not run away from your problems. Your problems, your circumstances are your shadows. The only way that you can overcome them, the only way that you'll be free from them is to confront them wherever you are. Wherever you are, confront them. And make sure that whatever you are doing blesses you. There are a lot of opportunities everywhere, anywhere around us. And if we will bring our minds down, or our minds to a level that we now know and believe that we are the creators of our own realities. And therefore, there are more things in the unseen world that we can bring them out into the outer world by faith. Then we have control and to complete liberation of freedom from any difficulties, any circumstances. So long as you are still a human being, there will always be a circumstance in your life. So long as you are still a human being, there will always be a problem, a challenge in your life. But it is your responsibility to confront them, but don't run away from them. If you run away from them, you meet them on the other in a different way. Yeah, that is just two examples I've given. Sit down and analyze your life, analyze people's life, and you begin to see whatever is happening, particularly those of us that migrated from Africa to this part of the world, to Europe and North America. We thought we are coming for greener pastures, but only to realize that you are put into a certain condition. The only consolation is that you are living in an advanced country, and therefore they have these credit cards and other things. So we use them And at the end of the day, we are entangled in debts. Some people also take into some bad behaviors or attitude, they do some bad jobs and other things that most people end up losing their lives, just like the villagers moving to the cities in Africa. And so you will see that it is not about running away from the problem. It's about confronting the problem, confronting the situation, and make sure that there is a solution. That situation becomes a blessing. And that is when you are free. But so long as you're running away from the problem, you're running from the situation, then you are like someone who is praying to God to come and save him. But as a matter of fact, God is law. The day of the Lord is the law of God. And that is the law of cause and effect. So long as you are going in the negative way, the law will return your results to you. And that becomes your judgment. That becomes your judgment. And it will be darkness. It will be darkness and it will be painful. So let us begin to seek the knowledge. Let us begin to seek understanding as how to organize our lives. If we are to, the moment we run away from our difficulties and challenges, the more we compound them, the more we make them bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And so that is how we are supposed to look at life. Your difficulties and your challenges are your shadows. Do not run away from them. Do not run away from them, but confront them. It is a universal truth that if you are bold enough and a dog is coming up, a wild dog is approaching you, if you don't run and you face off with it, the dog will not do anything to you. In the same way, even lions and those what do we call it, wild animals, they are powerful only when you are running away from them. But they become powerless. They begin to entertain fears when you face them. And that is how we are supposed to do. We are not supposed to run away from them. As soon as you run away from a problem, you become a prey to it. And it will overcome you. And it will move you from the state of a lion to a bear. And from the state of a bear to a point that a snake will bite you and you will die. That is the truth of life. And so this is what we are supposed to look at life. And today I'm going to narrow these things to something that I've been following all the time. And I'm not a politician. But I'm just making a true statement that is applicable to all of us as black men. If wherever you go, particularly those of us in North America, now we have US in particular. Wherever you go, we are complaining. We are complaining that situations are not well for us. This is happening. This is happening. This is happening. So we are looking for a way of escape. And so recently, one way of escape is what we call the return. So the black Americans are thinking of going back to Africa. Most of them have already migrated, and now they are settling in Africa. This is good. This is a very beautiful concept. After all, we want to develop Africa. But the fact is, every human being's life, whatever actions that you take, there must be a motivation. So the thing that motivates you to take an action is that matters, and that will determine the results that you will get. And so when you begin to take an action, check your motivation. What is motivating you to do that? If the motivation is coming out of discomfort or out of you feeling that someone is cheating you, you're feeling that someone is hurting you, and therefore you must move away from that person for you to be free on the other end, then today the message is that you are someone who is running away from the lion, and you will meet a bear over there. If you run away from the bear, there is a snake waiting for you in your home. And that is what we have to do. The motivation is what we are talking of. Any man or woman, all of us here, both those of us that came from Africa and the descendants of the slaves that came to this part of the world, if we are leaving this part of the world, that we are going back home, then we need to have the right motive for which we are going home. Africa is our continent. Africa is our home. So whether you are rich, whether you are enjoying here, your motivation shouldn't be as a result of what you are experiencing here, but your motivation should be that it is our responsibility to develop our lands. Africa belongs to us. Therefore, I've had enough here, being good or bad, so I am going to help to develop our land. Then you have the right motive. But if you are going away from here because people are, being racist to you, People are marginalizing you. You are going through all these guys, zim, 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 zims, and therefore you are migrating to Africa. Believe it or not, you will meet the same zim, zims or in a different version that it will be very painful. It will be very painful. So let us check our motives. We are all praying and we are all working to develop Africa, but we have to begin to do this with the right motives and with the right attitude and mindset. And so you are not supposed to live here because you are dissatisfied to go and help Africa. But you're supposed to live here with the mind that Africa belongs to you. Therefore, it is your right, it is your divine right to go and make your contribution over there. And that, in that case, you said thank you to the land that you are living. In that case, you bless the land that you are living, but you don't curse the land that you were born on or you actually live on for a very long time or for a lot of years, and only go and start another life with the mind that you are not being treated fairly. As a matter of fact, whoever you are, whatever you are, it all came as a result of where you find yourself before you were migrating. So, my brothers, my sisters, this is the time that we have to look at things from the right perspective. The law of cause effect is in effect, is actually true. And therefore, the motive, the thoughts upon which we are acting will give us the results. As a matter of fact, those of us in Africa, especially the government leaders and whatever that are calling all these people to come, we also have to be very, we need to be very careful and also call ourselves together to look at how we can do this in the light of the truth. Africa, even those of us that in Africa, we live on tribal basis. Therefore, every community, wherever you find yourself, you must belong to a particular tribe. If you are in the cities, it may not be necessary, but even everyone belongs to a particular tribe. So if someone is migrating from the United States or the Britain with his or her descendants as slaves and is returning to Africa, which tribe will the person be? And so as we go on without actually putting all these things in and analyzing it and making the environment in such a way that these our brothers and sisters will actually come and feel at home, but not at a point that we will turn against them. They have come to take our lands, they have come to take our minerals, they are becoming more richer than us. We will actually get to a point that whatever we are trying to create will not be achieved. But this is the time that we have to put our minds to this issue from both sides, analyzing and thinking of how we can integrate ourselves, we can mingle, we can bring ourselves together in such a way that even if a black American doesn't leave America to Africa, but he can live in America and contribute positively to the development of Africa, then we've achieved whatever we're trying to achieve. But it must begin from the Africans looking at how we're going to re-engineer our society such that these our brothers and sisters are coming to live with us. It will not get to a point that we will turn against each other, that they have come, that now they are being prosperous. At the end of the day, if someone is coming from the United States or United Kingdom, even if he's not coming back, he is entitled to whatever benefits or whatever thing that isn't here, so the person has money. And it will get to a point that we will see ourselves that we are being cheated by our own fellow brothers and sisters or our fellow Africans. But it is just that we haven't thought of it. We haven't made a preparation. There is the need for integration. There is the need for all of us to become one. But anything that you leave unaided doesn't work. Nature unaided fails. Nature unaided fails. There are a lot of things that has happened. We haven't had any connection in any way. And this is the time that we begin to think about this from the highest perspective, and educating ourselves as to why we have to come together. Not that people are cheating us, not that people are being racist to us, but the fact is that Africa is our continent, and we need to come together to develop it, regardless of what any man or woman anywhere is doing to us. Then that we have a right platform, and also making the ground fertile in such a way that we begin to loosen up, we begin to throw away some of our setup and then re-engineer, recreate new systems, such that all our brothers and sisters that will come will feel free. They will feel belong. Yes, as they always say, there may not be policemen and women, pulling them aside or shooting them, but there will be other things that will be more painful than almost the same as what they are going through here. And so we must not run away from our challenges and difficulties. All that I'm saying is that if you are a Black American, if you are an African, that you've come to United Kingdom, United States, Britain, Canada, and you want to go home with the right motive that it is time for me to go home. Therefore, I am going to help to build my country. Not that these people are this and that and that. And then we begin to speak bad about the land that has actually been a blessing to us and even help us to go back home. The motive is what we are talking about. And that is you running away from your problems. Whatever situation that you are facing here, you go there. If you are Black American, or if you are Black American, or if you are Britain or whatever, you go there, you don't belong to a tribe. You don't belong to a tribe. And it will be the same as someone, being racist to you. You don't belong to a tribe. And when it comes that the chiefs and the kings are talking about the lands and whatever, they will extort you. They will extort you and take the money. Look at what's happening. But whatever thing that we want to do, it has to come from correct or the right perspective. And that is we beginning to make preparation, beginning to thinking and planning about all that we want to create, all that we want to achieve, educating our men and women to take the right mindset, the right motive. Do not leave a place because of difficulties and challenges. Wherever you will go, you meet them in a certain way. And it is just like as it is, described in the book of Amos. And so these are just two examples that I've used. Villagers running away from the villages to the cities, and they find themselves in difficult situations or challenges. They ruin their lives. In the same way, our brothers and sisters, as a matter of fact, I know a lot of Ghanaians back in the UK and in Canada here, and I've heard of most people in the US that have returned to Africa, and Ghana in particular. They've returned to Ghana, and that they were going to settle. They went there only to return, and they are here again. And some of them, what they do is they go, and then a couple of months they return. No, this is not the right way of looking at things. The right way of looking at things is for us to begin to think that we are the creators of our own realities. You can be rich on the land of Africa. In the same way, you can be rich and be recognized, be respected on the land of America or Canada, depending on your mindset, depending on your mental attitude. Whatever situation that we are facing here, it's your shadow. And therefore, if you go to Africa, that shadow will follow you, but it will be in a different way. That is the truth. So let us not be running away from our difficulties. Let us not be running away from our challenges. Our difficulties and challenges should spur us to do something, that is to get a solution. Whatever we are going through here, all that we are going through should spur us to begin to think and create beautiful and wonderful things and take them home to go and help it. But not just going back home and do buying and selling. Most people that go back from this place, Africans that goes back home, they go and do buying and selling. Or they buy, we put up houses and all. This is not development. No, this is not development. We need to come with ideas. We need to come with ideas and how to come together. And those who are home too, they are well alert. As soon as you are from this point, this part of the world, they are ready to dupe you. So if you look at all this kind of things that we have, we need to deal with them right away. By the African minds, corruption, armed robbery, and all those things, we have to deal with them from our perspective. And the fact is that we are the creators of these things because of our own wrong thinking. And as soon as we begin to think in the right way, we have solved these situations. We have solved this problem. But some of us, our dream is that one day, the black man in America and the black man on the land of Africa will see ourselves as one. And even if we can learn from the Jews, such that we have black Americans in America, in Britain, in Canada, that we become a force, we become a block, that we advocate, that we think of how to develop Africa. That is our dream. That one day we will all come together. But it has to begin with the right mental attitude, and it has to begin with the right preparation. It is not about we making political statements, using this on that. No. That is not how it's supposed to be. But it's about we coming together across board, thinking from one perspective and using the universal truths. But first, we have to come to terms that we are the creators. We are the creators of our own realities. And therefore, all that is happening to us, say that Africans are fragmented. We are so divided and all everywhere. It is our own creation, but we can recreate a life that is befitting, that we love, that we enjoy. We can do it. If we are determined, if we come to the truth, if we accept the truth, we will do it. We will. It is not just a concept, but it is something that is destined to happen if only we accept the truth and walk by the truth. And so your difficulties are your shadows. Do not run away from them. In your personal life, whatever situation you are going through, do not run away from it. Confront it, just like Jacob, that confronted the angel of God and fought with the angel of God. And he was blessed. He was given a new identity. It's the same thing. My brother, my sister in diaspora, my brother, my sister on the African continent. This is the time that we have to begin to look at it from the highest point of view. This superficial thinking, surface thinking cannot take us anywhere. And it all begins from we looking for the truth. We beginning to accept the fact that we are the creators of our own realities. And therefore, whatever thing that we have created that it is more or less painful, we have the power to recreate over it or to recreate it in such a way that we will turn it to positive and favorable one. And that is when we have the key, we have the solution to our situations and problems. So you cannot. It is not that it's a call, it's a command, it's a command. You cannot run away from it. You cannot run away from it. So let us learn from this biblical statement. Whatever situation you are going through, do not run away from it. If you run away from it, you will meet the same situation to another level, especially those of us that are so used to, this place is not working for me, I'll move to this place. This job is not working for me. No, it is not about the job. It's about you understanding what you are doing and looking for the opportunity that exists in that, and make sure that this opportunity becomes a blessing to you. If you don't have the concept of looking for opportunities or looking for difficulties, challenges, and solve them as your opportunity, then you cannot get any opportunity anywhere. No company, no manager will promote you and raise your pay when you haven't solved any problem in the company. In the same way, you will not get, no man or woman will praise you, no man or woman will say you are doing well when you haven't actually given the person something that comes to solve a problem. That is the truth. So let us rise up. Africa is underdeveloped. Africa is underdeveloped. Poverty, lack is the outlook of our continent. But this is the time that we have to rise up. Our fellow brothers and sisters everywhere, let us begin to rise up and think in the right way. The law of cause effect is what we need to first understand, that our actions and reactions will bring the effects that are equal to the actions. And therefore, let us begin to think. Let us begin to obey the law. Running away from your problems, your difficulties, your challenges it's like someone running away from his or her shadows. It is impossible. It is impossible. And I want to restate this. There is a need. The idea of our fellow Africans in the diaspora returning home is a very good idea. But we have to begin doing this. We have to begin this with the right mental attitude, the right motive. Do not leave the country you live in. Do not leave the land you are living in because of racism, because of whatever that is happening in the media. But leave the country with the right mental attitude that I am a child of Africa. It is my divine right to go and make my contribution to the land of Africa. And therefore, I thank the land that I live on now. I thank the government. I thank the people here, even though it hasn't been good, but I have every reason to thank them and move on. You will see that you will create favorable conditions rather than you going with resentment, you going with anger, you going with criticism, you going with all the things that you can think of. No, that is not the right way of looking at it. That is not enlightened way of looking at things. And so, let us rise up. Let us rise. This is the time. This principle, this law, runs through every nook and corner of our lives. Do not run away from your problems. Africans, whatever situation that we are running away from, it puts us into another situation. We don't want hunger. We don't want this. Therefore, our government runs to IMF and then they give us conditions that we put ourselves in a very difficult situation. The only people that appear to be enjoying are the leaders who actually would take the money and distribute it among themselves. But if we become enlightened, if we become enlightened and intelligent, and we begin to take the right action, thinking in the right direction, with the right motive, the reason why we are doing it, that is to find a solution, that will wipe up the whole problem, but not a temporary solution just to alleviate the pain right now. We will get it. We should be ready to suffer a little bit, to enjoy forever. That is the rule. No pain, no gain. And therefore, let us all rise up, Africans, wherever you find yourself, and let us begin to build our mental capital. And this is the time that we have to look at things from the universal laws and principles. And today, I am selling the law of cause and effect, actions and reactions, which says that your actions will always mirror the effects of the actions, or the effects of the effects of your action will always mirror the cause. The cause and effect. Everything in this world has a cause. And therefore, whatever you are experiencing in your life, whatever you are going through in your life, is the effect of the cause, which is your thinking. Therefore, let us change our mind. Let us change our thinking. And that is why Jesus Christ, his preaching was centered on repentance. That repent, for the kingdom of God is at hand. And so, the day of the Lord that we are crying for, that there will be a judgment, that we will be set free. That is not. The judgment is in our lives. It is practical in every nook and corner of our life, in every moment in your life. And that is the law of cause and effect. And when the law of cause and effect, otherwise known as karma, retains the effect of your own thinking, which is the cause, then your day, your life, that day will be like darkness. That day will be like will be painful to you. That is it. You cannot think negatively and escape the effect. And the same way, you cannot think positively and escape the effect. Either way, you will get a result. And therefore, today, let us rise up. Let us begin to look at life from the right perspective. Our motive for doing everything that we're doing shouldn't be as a result of pain, shouldn't be as a result of other people's action, but we are supposed to look at it from the highest point of view, that you are in the image and the likeness of God. You are created in the image and the likeness of God, and therefore God has given you your own powers, and therefore you have the power to change your own life. And whatever thing that you are seeing in your life that you've been, it might appear that other people are those causing that to you, are your own creation by your thoughts and the law of cause and effect, and you attract them into your life by the law of attraction. Let us begin to seek the universal laws and begin to apply them in our lives, and we will create favorable, beautiful, and wonderful conditions in our life. That is my message for you. Do not run away from your challenges. Don't attempt. You cannot do that. It is not possible. Don't run. You kill yourself. It's just like you running away from your shadow. The shadow will follow you to wherever you will go. And sometimes, depending on the position of the sun, it may be short. Sometimes too, it may be long. Sometimes they may be scary. It is all the same. They are your shadow. And it is only the light that is being changed. And in the same way, if you move from the UK, the US to Africa, yes, you meet the same challenges, the same difficulties, the same problems in a different setting. But if we move with the right motive, and we go and do everything with the right motive, that we are building our own lands for every man to come and see what we have done with our African minds. Then that we have the right platform to launch everything that we want to do. And that is the truth. You will know the truth. The truth shall set you free. That is my message for you. And may the overshadowing presence of God that keeps the stars in the open, such that they do not fall on us, that keeps the planets in their orbits, such that they do not clash with one another, lead you, guide you, and give you a receptive heart and an open mind, such that this message will land on a fertile ground, that all of us, Africans, wherever you are, or wherever you find yourself, we will begin to look at things from the highest point of view, and we will begin to analyze the motive upon which we are taking our actions. Let us take our actions. Let us make our decisions independent of other people, but on the grounds that we are the images and the likenesses of God, and we are the creators of our own realities, and therefore we are creating our own realities, favorable. As a matter of fact, the unfavorable ones that we are going through are our own creation. We keep on recreating them. And as soon as we begin to obey the law and think in the right direction, all things will fade away. Like the fog that fades away. That fades away. That is the truth. Now, once again, my name is Emmanuel Kwejo Mensah. I am a co-founder of the Eagle Mentality Group. At Eagle Mentality Group, we teach and share information about the power of the subconscious mind and universal laws and principles. It is our determination to create or to raise a new group of Africans who will think and do things in a different way, in alignment with the laws of the universe, such that we'll create an Africa that is developed, an Africa that we do things with the right motives. We do things with a motive that we are the creators of our own realities, and therefore we recreate our own realities from bad to worse, from underdeveloped to developed, and we develop our continent in such a way that it will be an attraction to all men and women from all parts of the world, such that we will have an Africa that is diverse racially, that is diverse in every aspect, and that is why we demonstrate, or Africa demonstrate, diversity, which is the true nature and the glory of God. As a place, Africa is inhabited by only black people, and this is the time we have to begin to work and make conditions favorable for all men and women, including our brothers in the diaspora, so that we all live together peacefully and enjoy the land that God has granted unto us to the glory of God. Thank you, and God bless you.